Once it is started, I will going to start. Okay, yes. Good afternoon for all of you. Study well at home. Okay, yes. Today I will start with the concept regarding the semiconductors. Especially under semiconductors, I had to teach you intrinsic semiconductors and extrinsic semiconductors. If possible, I will teach you about the PN junctions. Otherwise, in another day that I can take up that one. PN junction is coming under the other chapter actually. But here also continuation that we can take up, no problem. Yes, right. So first idea, intrinsic semiconductor. Intrinsic semiconductors. Yes. This is already you have studied right from your SSLC level about the semiconductors. 10th standard you have studied. You have studied the same concepts, almost the same concepts in the case of your second PUC. Now in final BSc also you are studying the same concepts with a little bit difference, little bit extra knowledge here. Okay, first idea. Intrinsic means, it is a Latin word. Intrinsic, it is a Latin word, which means it is the pure semiconductor. It is a pure semiconductor, 100% it is a pure semiconductor. In the pure form, it is called by the name the intrinsic semiconductor, whose maybe the energy gap, forbidden energy gap, it is almost equal to energy gap. Forbidden energy gap, Eg, is almost equal to 1 eV. Energy gap of semiconductor is equal to 1 eV, which is in the pure status, is called by the name the intrinsic semiconductor. At room temperature, Fermi-Dirac distribution, it is holds good and it is equal to 0. Okay, don't forget, this is at room temperature. These ideas you have not studied in your second PUC. Don't forget. At room temperature, Fermi-Dirac distribution, FD distribution. At room temperature, Fermi-Dirac distribution, that is F of E, is nearly equal to 0. It is nearly equal to 0. F of E, it is nearly equal to 0. And in the conduction band here, let us consider the conduction band. You are aware of two bands, valence band and conduction band. In the case of conduction band, E minus EF is very much greater than that of KT. K is the Boltzmann constant, T is the absolute scale temperature. Again, I can repeat. Intrinsic means it is a pure semiconductor whose energy gap approximately equal to 1 eV. At room temperature, Fermi-Dirac distribution is approximately equal to 0. And in the conduction band, E minus EF is greater than KT, where K is the Boltzmann constant, T is the absolute scale temperature. Example for this intrinsic semiconductor example, either I can go for germanium or I can go for silicon. Both are tetravalent. Germanium is a tetravalent material. Silicon is also a tetravalent material, which is containing 4 valence electrons in the outermost orbit. Germanium, it is containing 4 valence electrons in the outermost orbit. And silicon is also having the 4 valency. Both are tetravalent elements. Germanium is a tetravalent. Silicon is also a tetravalent. But unfortunately, all the 4 valence electrons, they are involving in 4 covalent bonds. No free electron is available here. For example, let me consider silicon here. This silicon is having 4 valence electron here. I am writing the dots representing the 4 valence electrons belongs to this silicon. Neighborhood of this one, one more silicon atom is present here now, which is also having 4 valence electrons of its own. And here also again 4 valence electrons are present for the another silicon. Okay, like this it will continue. Here also there is another silicon atom is present, which is surrounded by 4 silicon valency, 4 valence electrons. Here also it is having 4 valence electron by another silicon, like this. And it will continue like this. 4 valence electron like this. Okay. Still, one more also I will write it here to make you to understand. So this is silicon, one more row that I am writing. 4 valence electron. Again 4 valence electron here. Okay, you can see it clearly, no problem. 4 valence electron for each silicon, like this. This is silicon crystal. I can consider this is silicon crystal. Okay. Inside that silicon crystal, there are so many number of silicon atoms. They are all arranged in an array here. In a proper manner, they are all arranged. And in this case here now, one silicon, whatever one electron is present here now, it is a tetravalent. 4 valence electrons are present. It wants to acquire the octet. Means the closed structure it wants to acquire here. So therefore, these two are sharing here. These two are sharing here. And these 2 electrons are sharing with respect to each other here. And hence it is forming the covalent bonds. Whatever I am writing the 2 lines here now, that is covalent bond. Electrons are sharing here. Due to the electron sharing, there exists the covalent bond. Covalent bonds are existing. It will continue, sir. Here free electrons are there. No, it will continue here. It will continue here also, etc., etc. It is continuing. Therefore, in the whole crystal here, no free electrons are available here. You can observe that one. No free electrons are available. All the 4 valence electrons, 4 valence electrons, they are involving in 4 covalent bonds. They are involving in 4 covalent bonds with the neighboring silicon atoms. With the neighboring silicon atoms, it is forming the 4 covalent bonds. And we know that covalent bonds are a little bit stronger than that of your ionic bonds, metallic, whatever it is actually. You have studied about the different types of bonds. Okay, so be careful about bond and band. Last class we have discussed about the band. Valence band, conduction band. Valence band, conduction band. Today I am talking about the covalent bond. The sharing of the 2 electrons with the adjacent atoms of the silicon, sharing of the 2 electrons that takes place here to make it as an octet here, and hence there are no free electrons are available inside the silicon crystal because all the 4 valence electrons, they are involving in the 4 covalent bonds. Therefore here the conductivity is either it is equal to 0 or it is equal to very, very, very small amount. So in this case, because of this one, I can say conductivity, either electrical conductivity or thermal conductivity is very small. It is very low value. Electrical conductivity is very low. Very, very small amount is present. In some occasions, I can say approximately equal to 0 it is present. But as soon as if you are keeping a silicon crystal like this in the room temperature is acting like this. Room temperature, it is acting on the silicon. As the room temperature is acting on the silicon here, as soon as if you are keeping the silicon crystal at the room temperature, room temperature may be during the winter season in Mysore, it may be around about 20 degrees like that. Summer season maybe around about 40 degree also. 40 degree also. Okay, during summer. Still, I remember when I was a student, the temperature during the summer season at Mysore, it was maximum around about maybe 32 degrees centigrade. 32. Now afterwards is go on rising and rising. Now, olden days it was at Bellary and Gulbarga. Now Mysore becomes that amount of temperature. We have reached up to 40, 41, 42 also, nearby, 40, 41 also. 33, if it is there, we could not be able to bear it once upon a time. So anyhow, that particular room temperature, it is acting on the silicon crystal. Using this room temperature here, this temperature acting on this crystal, and hence one of the covalent bonds may be breaking up. If a covalent bond, if it is breaking up here, breaks. If it is breaks up here, the covalent bond is, why the covalent bond is breaking up? Because of this temperature. Externally applied temperature. Where is that externally applied temperature? Maybe the room temperature. Heat, whatever it is present outside, that is activated here, and hence maybe let us consider one covalent bond is breaking up. If one covalent bond is breaking up here, if this electron, if it is moving, coming outside here, if this electron, if it is coming outside here, coming as like this, now here there is a shortage of an electron. Here there is a shortage of an electron. That shortage of an electron, I will take that one as a vacant space for the electron. So if I want to show it now, that one I will show it here. This is silicon. Last one, this one only that I am showing. Like this it is present. Okay. It is a covalent bond. Here there is a covalent bond with the silicon. Here this electron, it is coming out here, and here we are having a vacancy for the electron. This is silicon. Again here there is an electron, and the electron is here. It will continue like this. Here also it will continue. Here also it will continue. Okay, like this it is happening. So I hope you have understood about this. So what I mean to say is here now, one of the covalent bonds are breaking up. Once it is breaking up, the two electrons are available here. Out of the two electrons, one electron may be coming out here. Another electron remains there only. Now here there is a vacant space is there for the electron. That vacant space for the electron, deficiency of the electron, is represented by plus. Deficiency, vacant site, SITE, vacant site for the electron. The deficiency for the electron is represented by plus. Because this plus sign, why it is said to be existing? Because for this silicon, there must be 4 valence electrons. But here that 4th valence electron is coming out here. And hence, in this case here now, there is one electron. There is another shortage for an electron here, because that electron comes out here. This electron can move from atom to atom. Okay, I hope you understood. But this hole, what is happening to this hole? This particular, maybe another covalent bond is breaking up. This electron goes here and hole is creating here. See that carefully. If I'm choosing, maybe these are the benches are present in your classroom. These are all the benches in your classroom. Let me consider here there is a vacancy. Here there is a vacancy. Here the students are seated like this. Now if I am asking the student to occupy this, vacant space is created here. Again, occupy this, vacant space is created here. Occupy this one, vacant space is created like this. Then again, you occupy here, vacant space is coming over here. This is a vacant space. Now it has been shifting from here to here. But actually you are shifting. But the hole appears to be get moved here. Now this is called by the name the hole. This is called by the name the hole. Positively charged vacant space. There is a deficiency of an electron to make one covalent bond. there is a deficiency of an electron to make one covalent bond. A vacant space is created inside the crystal to occupy the electron because of the thermal energy or electrical energy, whatever we have supplied from outside. One covalent bond may be breaking up, and hence the electron of one of the silicon atom, it has been coming out. Hence there is a creation of a hole. A hole means there is a vacant space for the electron, and that vacant space can be occupied by the neighboring electron. This electron, if it goes here, here there is a covalent bond, but here there is a hole is generating. Again, this electron, if it comes over here, here there is a covalent bond, hole is created here. Therefore, as the electrons are moving, hole is also go on moving. I hope you understood. But in the case of silicon crystal here, in the case of silicon crystal, number of electrons, here number of electrons, how many they are produced, how many number of holes they are produced, they are one and the same. Number of electrons is equal to number of holes. Therefore, I can write number of electrons, Ne, is equal to number of holes, NH. Ne is equal to NH. There is a current that is flowing because of the electron motion. There is a current which is responsible for the hole motion also. But electron number and hole number, they are equal to each other. I will agree about that. Electron number is equal to hole number. But current due to electrons and current due to the holes, they are not one and the same, because the mass of the hole is larger, mass of the electron is very small. The mass of the electron is very small here, mass of the hole is said to be the large. Therefore, the mobility of the holes is said to be the less. The mobility of electrons is said to be more. The electrons are moving faster than that of the holes. Holes could not be able to move very quickly here because they are massive. Whereas electrons, they are, compared to here, they are having the lesser mass, they can travel with a higher speed. And moreover, these electrons are present in the valence band, the holes are present in the conduction band. These are present in the conduction band here, electrons, whereas the holes are present in the valence band. Electrons, once it is removed, they are going into the valence band. You know about the valence band and the conduction band. This is a valence band and this is a conduction band. Electrons are moving inside the conduction band. They are occupying the conduction band and it is traveling. Whereas the holes are present in the valence band. So therefore, if a current is flowing, if electrical conduction is present inside an intrinsic semiconductor, it is because of electrons and because of holes, both. But number of electrons is equal to the number of holes. But current due to the electrons is larger, current due to the holes is smaller. But current means due to electron also there is a current, due to holes also there is a current. If the electrons are traveling in one direction, maybe left to right if the electrons are traveling, right to left the holes are traveling. Both are conveying the current here. Now, total current, whatever it is said to be activated, it is given by current due to the electrons here, current due to the holes here. Due to the electrons, due to the holes, together there is a summation of these two. Together I can say there is a flow of current inside the semiconductors. That is the net current. This net current inside the semiconductor, of course, intrinsic semiconductor, it is due to the electron current and it is due to the hole current. But I am sure electron current is larger than that of the hole current. The electron current and hole current, they are acting in the same direction, but the movement that takes place in the opposite direction. If the electrons are traveling in one direction, holes are traveling in the opposite direction, but the net current is flowing in the same direction because of this You know about that already, the concept. What is that? If the electrons are traveling in your basic concept, let us consider if a wire, if it is said to be existing, if this is the battery, positive and negative, if it is connected to maybe a bulb or something else here now. Now I can say electrons are traveling from here to here, negative to positive, electrons travels. But we are going to show the current in the opposite direction like this. That is conventional direction of current from positive to negative. We are showing the conventional direction of current. But electrons are moving from negative to positive. This is the electric current idea taken from your lower classes. Taken from your lower classes. Here also, if I'm choosing an intrinsic semiconductor here, due to that intrinsic semiconductor, once the temperature is activated, or maybe electrical, whatever the voltage or the electric field that we are applying from outside, which intends to break the covalent bond, because of the breaking of the covalent bond here, then electron, if it is coming out of that particular position of a one particular, maybe the silicon atom site here now, therefore there is a vacant space is created for the electron that is representing as hole. That hole is not as it is present here now. Side by that one, whichever the electron is present, that is occupied, there it is, and hence it is making a covalent bond again. But this hole is created here. Once the electron is shifting from here to here now, hole is shifting here now. So electron and hole motion, they are oppositely directed. The total current in the whole semiconductor, intrinsic semiconductor, it is due to the electron motion and it is due to the hole motion. But the electron's current, it is there in the conduction band here. The hole's current, which is said to be existing in the valence band. The whole current is present in the valence band because the holes are moving in the valence band only. The electrons are excited to the conduction band, it is moving. Yeah, this is about intrinsic semiconductor. And one more thing, very important concept that I had to say. What is that? Okay, they are asking for about 1 mark questions, 2 mark questions. Okay, for your quiz. Anywhere else, if they are asking, you have to answer it clearly. What is that? In the case of an intrinsic semiconductor, you know about the valence band, correct? You know about the conduction band, right? This is valence band, correct? If I'm writing the wrong concept also, you are listening that also. You have to argue. This is valence band. This is valence band and this is conduction band. Okay? Valence band is having the lesser energy, conduction band is having more energy. Here to here, there is an energy gap. That is forbidden band or energy gap approximately equal to 1 eV. And you know about the Fermi level now. You know about the Fermi level. Fermi level exactly, one more question, be careful. Fermi level exactly it is present in between conduction band and valence band, in between, exactly at the mid portion, exactly at the center between the valence band and the conduction band. EF is said to be existing, which is at EF Fermi level. Fermi, where is the position of the Fermi level in an intrinsic semiconductor? In an intrinsic semiconductor or even extrinsic semiconductor, no problem. In the case of a semiconductor, EF Fermi level is present in the energy gap region. Where it is present? Exactly at the middle portion of the valence band and the conduction band, exactly at the midpoint, it is said to be existing. So Fermi level lies midway in the energy gap between the valence band and the conduction band. Midway between the valence band and the conduction band, inside the energy gap, Fermi level is said to be existing. Now, if the holes are created here, then why the holes are created? These electrons are excited to the conduction band. Number of holes is equal to number of electrons. If 4 holes are created, there must be 4 electrons. Electrons are responsible for the current in the conduction band. Holes are responsible for the current flow in the valence band. Current due to the holes is said to be the less. Current due to the electrons is said to be the more. But anyhow, holes are also contributing the current. Electrons are also contributing the current. But electron current is said to be larger than the hole current. These are called by the name the free electrons, and these are the holes. These are the holes here now. These are free electrons. Once the electrons are jumped into the conduction band, they can conduct. They can conduct because it is there in the conduction band. This is about your intrinsic semiconductors. Intrinsic semiconductor that I have covered. Now I have to take up extrinsic semiconductor. What do you mean by this extrinsic semiconductors? What do you mean by this? In the case of, I told you already, intrinsic semiconductor, the conduction either it is equal to 0 or it is very, very less, depending upon the temperature. If the temperature is very small, sir, then conduction is 0 in the case of intrinsic semiconductor. No, temperature we have given maybe the room temperature a little bit more than that. Then conduction is present, but it is said to be very small. Conduction is said to be very small. I told you already, conduction is very low. Otherwise, it may be equal to 0, depending upon whatever the temperature, whatever the electric field that we are applying. Okay. If no electrons or no holes are said to be existing here, in the case of intrinsic semiconductor, conductivity is equal to 0. If holes are present or electrons are jumped into the valence conduction band here, there is a flow of current. There is a flow of current even in the case of the valence band due to the holes motion. Then why we require extrinsic? In the case of extrinsic semiconductor, we want to increase the conductivity. Here the conductivity is very small. Here the conductivity is large. How to take that one? How to take? So let me consider intrinsic semiconductor. You know about intrinsic semiconductor, which is the pure state. A pure state semiconductor is called by the name the intrinsic semiconductor. Now I will going to add some amount of impurity. Okay. The addition of impurity, it has been done. These ideas you have studied in your SSLC level itself. You can take one 10th standard or SSLC book, you read it first. Then you take your second PUC electronics or maybe physics, solid state electronics, you read that chapter. Then you read this one, then it will be very easy for you. Then these ideas are very, very easy for you. So addition of impurity we are doing. As you are adding the impurity here, then this is converting in the form of an impure semiconductor called by the name extrinsic semiconductor. So intrinsic means it is a pure semiconductor. Extrinsic means it is an impure semiconductor because we have added some amount of impurity. So addition of impurity to the intrinsic semiconductor to make it as an extrinsic semiconductor is called by the name the doping. This phenomenon is called by the name doping. What do you mean by doping? The addition of impurity to the intrinsic semiconductor to make them as extrinsic semiconductor is called by the name the doping. The added impurity, whatever the added impurity is there now, the added impurity is called by the name, what is that? The impurity, whatever we are adding, that is called by the name, here it is doping agent. Doping agent. Sir, why we want to convert intrinsic in the form of extrinsic? In the case of intrinsic, the conductivity is very, very lower value, very small value. We want to increase the conductivity. Either the number of electrons must be more or number of holes must be very large. For that purpose, we require an extrinsic semiconductor where we want to get more amount of conductivity. For that purpose, we require extrinsic. How to get the extrinsic? By addition of some impurity. This doping agent or added impurity, it can be divided into two categories. One is trivalent impurity. The other one is pentavalent impurity. Either it is a trivalent impurity we have to add, or pentavalent impurity we are supposed to add it. Then only we can convert intrinsic in the form of extrinsic semiconductor. We want to convert intrinsic to extrinsic semiconductor by adding a doping agent. The doping agent may be a trivalent impurity or pentavalent. The example I can quote it here now. Trivalent impurity. So give some examples. We can give some examples for the trivalent impurity. You can take it for granted here now. Maybe it is example aluminum, boron, like that we can consider. Or any other equivalently. Pentavalent impurity, I can go for either phosphorus, arsenic, like that material we can choose it. Okay, any other thing, no problem. Okay, arsenic, phosphorus, even antimony also that we can consider. Yes, B, antimony. Right, that is doping. So don't have an idea that impurity it is to be added. So taking some amount of some other impurities. Sir, impurity means whatever it is available in the nature, we will take that one, we are adding that. No, cannot be. A suitable impurity atoms only we have to add. Either a trivalent impurity like that of aluminum, boron, or indium like that. Or maybe pentavalent impurity like that of phosphorus, arsenic, antimony like that we are supposed to add. So how much that we are supposed to add? Oh, there is a ratio. What is that? If we are adding this is 1 or something, 1 or 2, we can add 2 here, whatever the intrinsic is present here, this is said to be here. This is 10 to the power 6 to 10 to the power 8 atoms. These are impurity atoms, 1 or 2. 1 or 2 atoms of impurity we are supposed to add to 10 to the power of 6 atoms of silicon or germanium. Okay. If you are adding more here, if you are adding 2 or 3 extra here now, it is called by the name doping level is more. Doping level is more. If I am taking up, I think xenodiode is over now. So there we are going to take doping level is said to be existing more because we have added more amount of doping. As we are added more amount of impurity, then the conduction is very large. But here we are supposed to add in the ratio for a silicon or germanium. If it is in the ratio of 10 to the power of 6 to 10 to the power of 8 number of atoms are there, then 1 or 2 atoms of the trivalent and pentavalent, trivalent or pentavalent, anyone that we are supposed to add. In this ratio only we are supposed to add. If you are adding a trivalent, for example, let us consider germanium is present. I will going to add, okay, trivalent impurity. This is intrinsic semiconductor. Now we are going to get extrinsic semiconductor. That is called by the name N-type. P-type. This is trivalent now. Trivalent, that is P-type. P-type semiconductor. For this intrinsic semiconductor, that is germanium or silicon, if you are adding a pentavalent impurity, a donor impurity, this is an acceptor impurity. Acceptor impurity. I will explain that. Acceptor impurity. This is called by the name the donor impurity. If you are adding, then you are going to get an extrinsic semiconductor, which is called by the name N-type semiconductor. To an intrinsic semiconductor like that of germanium or silicon, if you are adding a trivalent impurity as an acceptor impurity, the resultant extrinsic semiconductor is called by the name the P-type semiconductor. To the intrinsic semiconductor like that of germanium or silicon, if you are adding a pentavalent impurity, that is a donor impurity, then the resultant extrinsic semiconductor is called by the name N-type semiconductor. That is an extrinsic semiconductor. In both these cases here, P-type or N-type, in both the cases, conductivity is larger than this. Compared to the intrinsic, extrinsic semiconductor, conductivity is very large. Therefore, we are not using intrinsic semiconductor in our equipments, electronic equipments, all your solid state electronic equipments. This one we are not using. We are using this one only. Extrinsic semiconductors only that we are using in our electronic equipment, but not your intrinsic semiconductors. Intrinsic semiconductor, it is a waste. It has no practical usage. But extrinsic semiconductor, extensively that we are using in the case of your practicals and your electronic equipments that we are using. Okay, now one by one concept. First idea, okay, N-type semiconductor. Easy to understand. N-type semiconductor. Already I told you how to get the N-type semiconductor. I will going to consider intrinsic semiconductor. Example, either germanium or silicon. I will going to add some amount of here pentavalent impurity that we are adding. Example, either phosphorus or arsenic, like that. Now the resultant one is called by the name extrinsic semiconductor. That is especially N-type. We are going to get N-type semiconductor. This is what is happening here. How we are going to understand about this concept? You know about silicon. It is a tetravalent substance. It is a tetravalent. No free electrons are available. All the 4 valence electrons are involving in the 4 covalent bonds. But if you are adding an impurity atom here, which is said to be a pentavalent here, out of that 4 valence electrons, it is involving in the covalent bonds with the germanium, but it is having one extra electron. That extra electron is a free electron here. That is responsible for the electrical conduction, which can be removed very easily from that particular atom, whose binding energy is said to be very less. I think you have heard about the binding energy. It can be removed very easily from that particular atom. Phosphorus or arsenic atom, we can apply a small amount of energy so that that particular electron can be removed. But remaining 4 valence electrons we cannot remove because they are involving in the 4 covalent bonds. For example, I will show it here, just to see that. If I am adding 1 or 2 phosphorus or arsenic atoms here now, arsenic, if I am adding here, which is having 5 valence electrons. Okay, I have written into mark representing the 5 valence electrons related to or which belongs to arsenic. Surrounded by this one here, silicon atoms are present. Like this. Silicon atoms are present. Okay. It will continue like this. Here one covalent bond, here a covalent bond, here covalent bond, here also covalent bond. Here as usual covalent bonds are present. Here there is a covalent bond, here there is, like this. It will continue. The crystal structure, it will continue. But the arsenic, which is having the 4 valence electrons, all the 4 valence electrons related to the arsenic, they are involving in the 4 covalent bonds with the neighboring silicon atoms. But arsenic is a pentavalent, which is having 1 extra electron. Okay. This extra electron, we can remove it very easily. This binding energy is smaller here. Compared to these 4 valence electrons, which are involving in the covalent bond, this is not involving in the covalent bond. This is called by the name a free electron. This can be removed very easily. Bonding is not done here. But here there is a bond. Covalent bonds are present here now. Not so easy to break up. But this one, easily we can make it to come out of this particular atom. If the electron is coming out here, arsenic atom, no longer it is said to be an arsenic atom, but is converting in the form of arsenic ion. Positively charged arsenic ion, it is converting. But this ion also not moving because it has been tied up in all the 4 directions with the 4 covalent bonds. Arsenic ion is there only, it is present. But it's one free electron, it can move from one atom to another atom. If I'm adding one arsenic atom, we are getting one free electron. If you're adding two arsenic atoms, we are getting two free electrons. Depending upon how many arsenic atoms that we are adding, that many number of free electrons you are going to get. Sir, you said in the case of intrinsic semiconductor, covalent bonds are breaking up. That is also maybe happening here. For example, let us consider 10 arsenic atoms that we have added. Therefore, you will be having 10 electrons. Correct? If one covalent bond is breaking up here due to temperature, now you will be having, so covalent bond breaks. Due to this one, you will be having one electron, one hole. Therefore, if one covalent bond is breaking up here, so due to covalent bond, if I'm choosing, there is one electron and there is one hole. Together, how much it is? 11 electrons and one hole. Hole number is small, electron number is large. Therefore, in this case here, electron number is greater than the number of holes. As the electron number is greater than the number of holes here, I can say majority charge carriers are electrons because the number is more. Minority charge carriers, they are said to be the holes. What is happening here as you are adding the arsenic here? As you are adding the arsenic here, you are aware of valence band and conduction band here. This is said to be the valence band. This is a valence band. Conduction band is present somewhere else here. This is the conduction band. Here to here, there is an energy gap. This is your EC. Conduction band lower. This is EV. Valence band upper. Valence band top surface of the valence band. Lower surface of the conduction band. The distance between here to here, I can represent that one by EG, energy gap. This is energy gap. EF is present exactly at the midpoint, at the middle region. At the middle region, again, one more question. At the middle region here, EF is present. EF means what? Fermi level. Fermi level is present exactly midway between the valence band and the conduction band. But if you are adding a donor impurity here, if you are adding a donor impurity, arsenic is a donor impurity which donating an extra electron. The donor impurity energy level, which is said to be closer to that of the conduction band. One more question, so be careful. So this is the energy level for the donor, E suffix D. This is arsenic. Energy level for the donor atoms are present closer to the conduction band. But EF is present exactly midway between the valence band and the conduction band. Several times that I am stressing the point, EF, Fermi energy, lies in between, exactly between or middle portion of valence band and conduction band. But donor impurity energy level is lying closer to the conduction band. Therefore, if the covalent bonds are breaking up here, one electron may be shifting from here to here. One electron. Here, one hole is created. Here, if 10 electrons are shifting from here to here, I told you already, because of 10 arsenic atom, 10 electrons are shifting like this: 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So here you will be having 10 electrons. So totally here 11 electrons are there. Here 10 holes are said to be existing. They are not called by the name the holes here. They are the ions. Here holes are present. Holes are present as a lesser number in valence band. But in the case of conduction band, huge number of electrons are present. Because of that one, conductivity is going to get increased. Don't have an idea that, sir, here there is a electron shortage is there now. Yes, because of this arsenic atom losing an electron here, this is converting in the form of arsenic ion. These are all arsenic ions here. Positively charged arsenic ion, there only, that is there only, it is present exactly, else it is. This is N-type semiconductor. Similarly, P-type is also acting. So what is happening in the case of P-type? Similar idea, similar, another 5 minutes. Just I will wind up. So P-type semiconductor. Similar concept. Okay, I will take in the similar fashion. So we are going to consider an intrinsic semiconductor. Example, either it is germanium or silicon. I will going to add here a trivalent impurity. This is a donor impurity, whereas this is an acceptor impurity, trivalent impurity. Like that of, I told you already, either it is boron or it is aluminum, like that. A trivalent impurity. Now it is converting in the form of an extrinsic semiconductor. This is called by the name a P-type semiconductor. Here, in the case of germanium or silicon here, if you are adding a pentavalent impurity, an extra electron is said to be existing here, which is not involving in the covalent bond. And it can be removed very easily. That will be go to the valence band to conduction band very easily. It can conduct. But here, if you are adding a trivalent impurity, what is happening here? Maybe aluminum or boron, if I am considering, which is a trivalent impurity, which is containing only 3 valence electrons. And it is involving the 3 covalent bonds with the neighboring germanium or silicon. Like this. Okay, dot mark representing the electrons related to, electrons belongs to silicon. The into mark representing the electrons belongs to boron here. So therefore, it is forming 3 covalent bonds. But silicon is present here also. Here also silicon is present. But here there is a shortage of 1 electron. It wants to make, silicon wants to make one more covalent bond here. But it is not finding that electron which is said to be existing in the boron, because boron is having only the trivalency, which is having only the 3 valence electrons. All the 3 valence electrons are involving in the 3 covalent bond with the neighboring germanium atom. But boron, it is not having an extra electron to make a covalent bond with the silicon or germanium. Therefore, here there is a deficiency of an electron to make it as a covalent bond here. Hoping that you have understood. This is called by the name a shortage of an electron, called by the name the hole. Similar to here, okay, similar to the last concept, whatever I taught, okay, like this. If I'm adding 10 number of boron, let us add 10 number of borons here. 10 boron atoms are added. Because of the 10 boron atoms here, you are going to get 10 holes. So due to the covalent bond, maybe another bond is said to be existing here now, silicon. Okay, like this covalent bond is present. Let us consider. This covalent bond is breaking up. Covalent bond breaks up. Why it is breaks up? Because of external temperature maybe. Okay, due to room temperature or external temperature or electric field, no problem. Due to this covalent bond, whatever it is breaking up here, it produces 1 electron, 1 hole. So here, due to covalent bond breaking up, breaks up of covalent bond, it produces 1 electron and 1 hole. Therefore, together I can say here 11 number of holes are present and 1 electron is said to be existing. Therefore, hole number is more, electron number is less. Therefore, in this case here, NH is greater than Ne. Number of holes are larger than number of electrons, where it is in the case of p-type. In the case of p-type, holes number is more than the electron number. Clear now? So what is happening in this case here now? Let me choose valence band and conduction band here. This is your valence band and conduction band somewhere else is present here. This is conduction band. Lower end of the conduction band to the top end of the valence band, the gap between them is called by the name energy gap. I can take this one as E suffix C, this is E suffix V. Valence band top layer EV, conduction band lower level EC. The energy gap between EV and EC is EG. Okay, EF is present exactly at the midpoint. Again, I am repeatedly that I am saying, where is that EF level? EF level is present exactly at the midway between the conduction band to the valence band, EF. But whatever you have added the boron atom now, that is an acceptor impurity, a trivalent impurity, acceptor impurity. That acceptor impurity means it wants to accept one electron here because there is a shortage of an electron here. That acceptor impurity which is present very closer to the valence band. One more question. So there in the case of N-type, again I can show it. The donor impurity energy level is closer to the conduction band. Here, this is E suffix A, where it is present closer to the valence band. Closer to the valence band. Right. So now I can say valence band here, valence band holes are present. Those holes are attracting the electrons from here. The holes are attracting the electrons from here to here. Holes are present here, attracting the electrons from this. Therefore, holes are created here. Okay. Actually, holes are present here. 10. 3 plus 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These holes are attracting the electrons from here to here. Therefore, the holes are generating from here to here like this. They are all moving. Right. If one electron may be shifting from here to here, due to that one here, there is a creation of one hole. Electron is shifting from here to here. You see that? One electron is shifting from here to here. One more electron is shifting from here to here. One more electron is shifting. Therefore, holes are created here. Here, holes are created. Here, one electron is jumping from valence band to the conduction band here. Because of that, one hole is created here. Totally, in this case here, number of holes is equal to 11 holes. Here, number of electrons is equal to only 1. Only one electron is present in the conduction band, but in the valence band, huge number of holes are present. So therefore, in this case here, the majority charge carriers are holes, minority charge carriers are electrons. So in the case of p-type semiconductor, majority charge carriers are holes, minority charge carriers are electrons. More amount of current it is said to be existing because of the holes motion here. Lesser current is existing because of this electrons motion, because the electron number is very less, hole number is very large. So this is the concept here. Okay, another just 2 minutes. You are supposed to see whatever I have mentioned. Okay, for your examination purpose that I am showing this one. Just quickly, once you read it, afterwards only I will going to switch it off. Afterwards, unless I said don't go. Just another about 3 minutes. quickly once you read it. I'm supposed to teach Hall effect also, because in the case of Hall effect, if I'm taking up semiconductors, if you don't know anything about the semiconductors, then it is a problem. Therefore, I taught all these concepts.